Hey guys, and welcome to my speedrunning tutorial for Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I'm Tony Chop Chop, otherwise known as Josh or Tony or whatever you want to call me. And I'm going to be giving you guys some tips for how to speedrun this game, and I'm going to be doing it in parts over the next few weeks, hopefully. We'll see how long it takes me to put out videos and such, but anyway. If you are watching this on YouTube, I would highly recommend that you download it in the link in the description, because then you can watch it at full 60 frames per second, and it will just look a lot nicer, so I would highly suggest that because it'll look a lot better. But it's not necessary, so keep watching here if you don't want to bother. But anyway, we're starting up the game right now, and the time starts for this game when you select yes at the file screen. And one thing you'll want to do before you start a run, once you've learned the game, not when you're learning it, but once you've learned how to run the entire game, then you're going to want to take out your memory card, because if you have a memory card in, then when you press yes at the file select screen, it's going to ask you, it's not going to ask you, it's going to basically force you to save, and that takes a while, so, well, it doesn't take a while, but... You know what I mean. It takes a little bit of time. Not much, but still, it's nice to save. So yeah, so that's really all you need to know before you start up the game. The file name obviously doesn't matter because it's never displayed in the game, so that's not a big deal. But anyway, the first thing that I'd like to discuss, since we have just started this game, is basically, one of the most important components of running this game is knowing how to text mash. And what I mean by that is you need to alternatively press A and B really fast so that the text goes by quicker. And you do this by pressing B quicker than A. Like, you want to focus on pressing B faster because B basically scrolls a dialogue box away. A just kind of makes the text move faster, but it still helps. So you want to do a combination of that, and that's going to get you the best results when you're running this game. And the other thing that you want to know starting up is when you do a jump attack, you want to not land the second jump, because that saves a few frames over the course of the run. So it probably saves a couple seconds, but you want to do that. So, and there are a couple other things I'll explain as we go along. I probably won't cover everything that I do in this video, but there's going to be a lot of time in future videos to get over the things I missed. So be sure to leave comments on things that you think I should have covered so that I can do that. So here we've started the game, and the thing here is I kind of messed it up, but with Papatch there, if you jump forward at the right time, you can actually get in front of Papatch, and it basically just allows you to walk around him a little bit faster. And that's the most optimal way to do that. I didn't get it, but I didn't exactly do perfectly during this prologue. And actually, that's a good thing to mention, is that I'm not going to be playing perfectly over the course of these videos, but I'll do the best I can. I think I'll at least be playing at an acceptable level that I wouldn't have to, like, throw away this run. So, yeah, so we just defeated Lord Crump, and the way you do that is you need to jump on his head, and as you saw, I didn't hit the second jump, and also I super guarded his attack. If you don't super guard him the first time, it's not a big deal, but try to do it the second time if you can, because otherwise the fight is going to take a good extra turn and a half, and obviously that wastes, like, I think 10 seconds, like 10 to 15 seconds, so it's kind of crappy if you miss it, but it's not a big deal when you're starting out, but try to learn it anyway. You don't really need to do a whole lot of super guarding with this game, so don't think of it as something really important that you need to learn. And right now we are watching the opening cutscene. One thing that you really need to understand when you begin running this game is that a lot of it is composed of cutscenes. Like, I'd say at least 60% of the game is just mashing text. And I think that's off-putting for a lot of people because this game is not run at all by really anyone. I run this game sometimes. You can check out my Twitch account. And also, I would highly suggest checking out Almo, who also runs this game. He's a lot better than I am. But yeah, I don't know if he's running it as of making this video, but you should go follow him anyway because he is a good caster. And I'll have a link to his channel in the description as well. So now Goombella is joining our party, and she's fairly useful at the beginning of the game, but once we get Coops, we'll pretty much never need her again, so she does have her use, though. She works well enough for being the first partner. We never use her field ability, though, so that's kind of obvious. But now we're kind of finally getting to the game, and the first thing that we're doing here is we need to break Zesty's contact lens. And you technically don't need to do this now, but it's fastest to do it now because you won't be going to this part of Rogueport until after Chapter 2, so it's just quickest to do it right now, because you have to go to the shop here anyway, which is what I'm doing now. And I like to go behind the clipboard, or the billboard, not clipboard, because I think it's a little bit faster. There's actually a lot of little minute things that kind of make... There are certain decisions I guess you could make that will sometimes be faster or not, and it's actually a little hard to tell sometimes, so it's something I guess you need to suss out for yourself while playing. Now here we're buying our first set of items, and items are hugely important in this speedrun. So what I just did was I bought 3 fire flowers and 5 fright masks, and we're going to be using all of them obviously, but for this segment we're only going to be using 1 fright mask and 1 fire flower. So, but in later segments, especially chapter 3, we're going to have a heavy reliance on items. And another thing is, as you saw, the bandit just stole our money, but we actually don't need to go and get it back, because I think most people probably know that you can go chase after him and get your money, but at no point do we need the money that the bandit gives us, and it would just waste a lot of time to go after him, so don't do it. It's totally not worth it. And we have another cutscene here. Unfortunately, this segment is mostly cutscenes, and for future segments, I'm actually going to be cutting out a lot of this, because I don't think I could commentate over cutscenes for very long. Like, I probably won't cut them out for the next chapter as well, or the next segment, but for this one, I felt that it was necessary to kind of keep it all in. So, now we're leaving Frankly's house. And the segments, or I guess the route for this chapter, is pretty easy. The only thing is there is one really kind of annoying part that will be coming up on soon. There's actually 2 parts that annoy me, but one thing I really need to mention about that part just there is that when Professor Frankly asks you if you want to do the tutorial on action commands, you need to manually press the stick down to not do that. And then for the second one, you can press B, because if you don't do that, then basically it will make you do this really long tutorial, and you really want to avoid that, because there are a couple tutorials that you got to avoid at the beginning of this game. Another thing you'll be seeing here is there's a platform in the background, and we need to take the platform to get to the pipe. And if you can mash through the text quickly enough, then you can jump on the platform on the first turn here and get across. I unfortunately did not make it. I almost did. I think I was actually kind of a little too close to the edge. I don't know why I missed it, but I did. So that takes a lot of practice, though. I think maybe I'm just kind of bad at mashing, but I have a lot of trouble with that. And then here is the next annoying part, 2 annoying things in a row, is this first Goomba is actually really hard to avoid. The way I just avoided him was kind of unorthodox, but there is a technique to avoiding him. There's actually a couple techniques. But that's something you're going to want to grind out that area a lot to learn how to avoid the Goombas because they can be a really big pain. Now, the next thing we're doing here is we're getting our first badge, which is pretty lucky, and we're going to be selling that badge later. In fact, there are a bunch of badges we're going to be picking up that we're going to be selling a bit later in the game, and this is generally to get money to make ourselves more powerful, and also to get certain items that we need for Chapter 3 and beyond. So, generally, the badges that I collect in this route are optimal. Like, there's really not any other faster way that you could earn the money, so that's what's going to happen. So, now we're getting the plane ability, which obviously lets us plane across gaps or whatever. And we use it a lot actually in this run. There's a lot of plane pads and there's no way of avoiding them, so you gotta do it. So that's why we're learning it now. And I think I've pretty much covered the basics. I guess another thing I would highly recommend is to make sure that if you're playing this game that you're on a setup that doesn't give you a lot of lag, because this game, especially for action commands, requires really precise timing. So that's probably a good tip for any game that you speedrun, but I think it's really important for this game as well. And right now we're at the 1,000-year door, and there is no way to skip this very, very long cutscene. So we'll just have to get through it. One thing actually I should mention is that if there is a section, like if you're mashing A and B, obviously your fingers are not going to be on the control stick. So what you want to do is if you're about to gain control of Mario, which you kind of just need to suss out by playing the game and understanding how, I guess, the text box works, then you need to just start mashing B and move your left thumb over to the stick, and that way you can gain control of Mario right away after mashing. It's something that I find a little annoying, but you get used to it eventually. And yeah, like I said, this cutscene is really long, and we have to sit through this cutscene a couple more times in the future, so you're going to have to get used to it. But we're going to be skipping it in future segments. I'll just be showing myself, you know, getting to the 1,000-year door and stuff, so, yeah. And after this, we're going to be doing our first boss battle, and it's a pretty simple boss, but it's one that you need to kind of master the timing of and the button presses to do. For this Frankly dialogue section, there's a certain point where Frankly asks you if you want to learn about special moves, and you could just press B for those and skip through them, so make sure you do that because this tutorial is the longest in the game, and I'm not even joking. It is insanely long. It takes forever, so make sure to avoid that because I would hate to see someone sit through that. It's really bad. Now, it looks like we're about to be controlled again, but we're not. We actually get another badge here. This is Power Smash, and we never actually sell Power Smash, but we do use it in battle because it's pretty good actually. It does a good amount of damage. And what you're seeing there was I failed to quick equip it, which basically, when you open up menus in this game, there's actually a brief window before that, I guess the menu pops up that you can, you know, input commands, and it's possible if you do 2 quick taps of A that you can just equip it and then press start and then it'll exit out of that menu. And it can be really quick, but I didn't get it. It's not too important though, but it's something you should master. And we're at Blooper now. And Blooper is really easy. He's a very simple boss. And basically, the strategy here is that we have Goombella use one of the fire flowers on it. And I actually selected the fire flower really quick, so that was cool. And then we have to power smash it as Mario. then do a head bonk as Goombella, and then a failed power smash as Mario. And what a failed power smash is that you wait until one of the dots is highlighted for the hammer meter, and then you let go of it. And one thing you'll notice when I'm power smashing is that I do one stylish move, because that's actually a lot faster than just not doing it, which is really weird, but you definitely want to do it. It'll save you a bit of time. But that about wraps up the prologue. So, yeah, be sure to leave some comments on what you want me to explain, and I'll be sure to do that. And I will see you guys in a future update for the Thousand Year Door. Bye.